The Forgetful Giant's Wacky Wishes. Three sisters Gamsai, Prim, and Playfa hiking up a mountain path with backpacks and exploring gear. The three sisters discovering a mysterious glowing cave entrance with sparkles and magical light coming from inside. The sisters meeting a confused-looking giant scratching his head inside the cave surrounded by magical crystals. Gamsai asking for something while the giant looks puzzled and starts making magical gestures with his hands. The giant creating an all tower instead of what was requested. With Gamsai looking surprised and confused, Prim making a wish while the giant concentrates hard with magical sparkles surrounding his hands. The giant accidentally creating a cup full of snakes instead of the intended wish. With all three sisters looking shocked, the three sisters working together to help the giant by showing him clear pictures and gestures of what they mean. The giant successfully granting a proper wish with the sisters celebrating and the giant looking happy and confident. All three sisters and the giant sharing a joyful moment together in the cave. With the giant no longer confused. The moral of the story, be careful what you wish for and the power of clear communication. The Sneezing Cloud and the Rain of Surprises. One bright morning, three sisters Gamsai, Prim, and Playfa were playing outside when they noticed a small, fluffy cloud floating alone in the sky. Look, Gamsai pointed, that cloud just sneezed. ACHOO. Sneezed the cloud again. But instead of raindrops, rubber ducks, socks, and spoons fell from the sky. The sisters stared up in amazement as and witches and even toy dinosaurs came tumbling down. Oh no, said Prim, I think the cloud is sick. We need to help it feel better, said Playfa seriously. The sisters came up with a plan. They packed a big pot of warm soup, their favorite musical instruments, and some silly storybooks. Then they climbed up the tallest hill they could find to get closer to the sneezing cloud. Here, have some soup, said Gamsai, holding the steaming bowl up. The cloud hovered low and sniffed the warm aroma. Then Prim started to sing a sweet, cheerful tune. Musical notes floated into the sky, and Gamsai and Playfa clapped along. The cloud gave a tiny smile. Playfa began telling a funny story with big gestures and silly voices. Gamsai and Prim giggled, and the cloud chuckled softly too. Bit by bit, the cloud looked healthier. Instead of sandwiches and socks, normal raindrops gently began to fall. Hori the sisters cheered and danced joyfully in the soft rain. The cloud, now smiling and full of thanks, floated higher into the sky. The sisters waved goodbye as it drifted off to water, flowers and trees across the land. The moral of the story, empathy and creative problem solving.
The Upside Down Town Mystery. One sunny afternoon, three adventurous sisters Gamsai, Prim, and Playfa were walking along a quiet path when they spotted a strange town in the distance. That this town was unlike anything they had ever seen. Buildings were hanging from the sky and people were walking on their hands. At the town entrance, the sisters stood wide-eyed. Are we dreaming? Asked Playfa. Let's find out, Gamsai replied, and together they carefully entered the upside-down town, giggling as they tried to walk on their hands like the locals. Inside, they saw fish swimming upward in waterfalls and books floating mid-air. Curious townspeople explained that one day, everything just flipped upside down, but no one knew why or how. Determined to solve the mystery, the sisters explored the town center. They searched high and low until they found a large, spinning crystal hovering above the square. It shimmered with magical sparkles. This must be it, sighed Prim. Working together, the sisters carefully reached out and slowly turned the crystal right side up. Suddenly, the ground rumbled. Sparkles flew through the air and poof, everything began returning to normal. Houses gently landed on the ground, and people stood upright, cheering with joy. The grateful townspeople gathered around the sisters. Thank you for helping us, they said. You've reminded us to look at things from new perspectives. The sisters waved goodbye, smiling as they continued on their Journey happy. To have made the world a little brighter. Moral of the story. Thinking outside the box and the importance of perspective.
The wishing well that echoed backwards. One sunny morning, three sisters Scamsai, Prim, and Playfa strolled into a magical forest filled with tall, whispering trees and twinkling fireflies. While exploring, they discovered an old stone wishing well covered in blooming flowers and winding vines. Let's each make a wish, Amsai suggested excitedly. Amsai went first. I wish for endless happiness, she said. The well echoed, but in reverse. Sasinapanas sell me raw fish sawai. Suddenly, the sisters grew sleepy and yawned deeply. That's odd, said Prim. Let me try. She stepped up and wished. I wish for a frozen treat. The well echoed back. Carrot Nezor for raw fish sawai. A frozen dessert appeared, but it steamed like it had been cooked. Playfa giggled. This well is mixing everything up, she exclaimed. Then her eyes lit up with an idea. Maybe the well is hearing the wishes backwards. The sisters huddled together, whispering and planning. Working as a team, they rearranged the words of their wishes so the echo would reverse them back to normal. Playfa stood up proudly and said, Izerdstisa freprofulaxigamates ifate siwa the well echoed. I wish to fix the magical well for perfect desserts. A swirl of glowing light sparkled around them. The well glowed brightly and hummed with joy. From then on, all wishes were granted perfectly. The sisters skipped happily home through the forest, proud of their clever teamwork. Moral: learning to listen closely and adapt can turn confusion into magic.
The day the moon got stuck. One evening, three sisters Scamsai, Prim, and Playfa stood outside their house and stared at the moon stuck in the starry night sky. As the moon remained frozen, everything below grew sleepy. People began yawning, flowers drooped lazily, and cats curled up for naps. Suddenly, a magical rainbow bridge appeared, stretching from their garden up toward the sky. Determined to help, the three sisters eagerly climbed it. Up above, they found the moon tangled in a giant, sticky cloud of marshmallow fluff. The girls gasped worriedly. A friendly giant popped out and explained that his mixed up wish accidentally created the marshmallow cloud that trapped the moon. Without hesitation, the sisters and the giant teamed up. They pushed and pulled with all their might, trying to free the trapped moon. Working together, Gamsai tickled the fluffy cloud, while Prim and Playfa gently guided the moon to break free. With a happy pop, the moon finally broke loose. The girls cheered, and the giant sighed in joyous relief. The moon began to drift gracefully across the sky again. The sisters waved goodbye and happily slid down the rainbow bridge back to Earth. That night, safe at home, the sisters watched the moon glide peacefully through the sky. As everyone below woke up refreshed and full of smiles. Moral: perseverance, teamwork, and owning up to mistakes.
Full of fun stories and beautiful coloring books like this. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Just type free bookhub and hit follow, so you won't miss any new videos.